The Frog Prince, Part 1, The Promise. Once upon a time, in a grand kingdom filled with towering castles and whispering gardens, lived a beautiful princess named Aurelia. Her most cherished possession was a golden ball. It wasn't just gold, it was her best friend for games. She loved to toss it high into the air and catch it again and again. One sunny afternoon, Aurelia was playing near an old, deep well in the forest behind the castle. She threw the ball up higher than ever before. But this time, she missed the catch. The ball bounced on the stone edge, rolled, and splash. It disappeared into the cold, dark water below. Aurelia began to cry. "My golden ball! I'll give anything to have it back." Suddenly, a small green head popped out of the well. It was a large green frog named Gregor. He looked quite old, with bright, knowing eyes. "What is wrong, princess?" he asked, his voice a deep, gentle croak. "Oh, my poor golden ball has fallen into the well," Aurelia cried. "If you can bring it back, I will give you my jewels, my dresses, anything you want." Gregor replied, "Jewels? Dresses? I don't need those, but I will bring your ball back if you promise to be my true friend. You must promise to let me sit next to you at the dinner table, eat from your golden plate, and sleep in your soft bed," Gregor croaked firmly. Aurelia thought, "A frog friend? He'll never leave the well anyway." So she said quickly, "Yes, I promise. All of it. Just please, bring back my golden ball." Splash. With a tiny flick of his strong, webbed feet, Gregor the frog popped back up, holding the shiny golden ball perfectly in his mouth. Snap! Aurelia snatched the ball. "Thank you, Gregor," she called, already turning to run. She didn't wait to see if he wanted a hug, or a high five, or anything else. Poor Gregor sat sadly by the well, watching her go. His bright eyes looked dull. He thought, "A promise is a promise. I will wait." The next evening, Princess Aurelia was enjoying a wonderful dinner with her father, King Aldrich. The royal dining hall was grand and quiet. Knock! A loud, echoing sound came from the heavy castle door. Then, a deep, gentle croaking sound. "Princess Aurelia! Open up!" Aurelia froze. She knew that sound. "It's nothing, father," she mumbled, quickly trying to eat her peas. "Just the wind." But the king, who was wise and had very good ears, shook his head. "My dear, the wind doesn't usually ask for you by name." He sent a footman to open the door. In hopped Gregor. He was a little wet from the journey, but he hopped right past the confused footman and straight into the dining hall. Hop, hop, hop! He stopped right by Aurelia's chair. "Princess," he croaked, "you promised. Remember the table, the golden plate, and your soft bed." Aurelia gasped, "But you're a frog. I didn't think you would actually come." King Aldrich sighed, pushing his plate aside. "Aurelia," the king said firmly, "a promise made in a time of need is the most important promise of all. You gave your word to your friend. Now you must honor it." Aurelia, very slowly and with a heavy sigh, reached down. She gently picked up the wet, cold frog. She had to keep her promise. "All right, Gregor," she mumbled, placing him right next to her golden plate. "You can have a bite of my peas." Gregor happily hopped onto the plate and dipped his head low. He scooped up a pea with his tongue and ate it with a tiny slurp. He looked up and gave her a slow, happy wink. Later, in her beautiful bedroom, Aurelia stood by her soft, four-poster bed. "This was the hardest part. You must sleep beside me, in my bed," she whispered, remembering her promise. Gregor sat patiently in her hand. "You promised, princess," he reminded her, his voice still a gentle croak. "The soft bed, right next to you." With a heavy sigh, Aurelia lifted the warm silk covers. She set Gregor down carefully on the pillow beside her. He looked so small against the mountain of fluffy feathers. Aurelia turned her back to him, pulling the blanket up to her chin. This is silly, she thought. How can I sleep with a cold, wet frog next to my ear? Just as the moonbeam slid across her window and lit up the room, Gregor gave a deep, shaky sigh. It was a human sigh, not a frog sigh. Aurelia quickly rolled over. There, where the little green frog used to be, was the most wonderful surprise. The little green frog was gone, and in his place was a handsome, kind-eyed young prince. He sat up, stretching his arms. "Thank you, Princess Aurelia," he said, his voice now a warm and clear whisper. "I was under a powerful, wicked spell," he explained. "Only a true promise, honored all the way to the end, could break it. You broke the spell, princess." The next morning, King Aldrich, who was wise but not easily surprised, smiled when he heard the news. He knew all along that honesty brings the best rewards. And Princess Aurelia? She never forgot that sometimes the coldest, wettest, and greenest friends are the ones who turn out to be the most magical. The prince, whose name was Alistair, smiled at Aurelia. "I am prince of the sunken kingdom of Aquatica," he explained. "A wicked forest witch cursed me for refusing to give her my lucky golden ball." With the magical night behind them, all the shock and sleepiness were gone. Aurelia and Prince Alistair walked hand in hand down the hallway to find King Aldrich. King Aldrich was already at the breakfast table, happily sipping his morning tea. He looked up and saw the cheerful, kind-eyed young man. "Welcome, Prince Alistair," the king boomed. "I must return and tell my family the spell is broken," Alistair explained. "I have not seen my home, the underwater city, in 3 long years." Aurelia's smile faded a little. Alistair saw her sad face. He took her hands. "Don't worry, Princess Aurelia," he promised, giving her a reassuring squeeze. "I will return to visit you and King Aldrich as soon as I can." Before he left, Alistair placed a tiny, perfect round pearl into Aurelia's hand. "Keep this," he said. "It will shine a little brighter every day, to remind you of my promise." Days turned into weeks. Aurelia kept the little pearl in a small velvet box next to her bed. It was now shining with the prettiest rainbow of 7 colors. "He hasn't forgotten," she thought happily. One sunny day, the pearl flashed its brightest, happiest color. Just then, the door to the courtyard opened, and Prince Alistair stepped out of a grand, gold-trimmed carriage. "Alistair!" Aurelia cried with joy, running across the courtyard to meet her friend. He was back, and he was holding the lucky golden ball he had won back from the wicked witch. From that day on, the two friends often shared stories and laughter. Princess Aurelia always remembered that a true promise, kept with kindness, can break the strongest magic and bring the best friends.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome videos.